Please confirm that I am on sound. Okay, hello, greetings, fellow Ugandans. Apologies for the technical glitch. I hope I am live and clear on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. I want to greet you, fellow Ugandans who are gathered in Boston today. I salute you. I also greet you, friends, fellow Ugandans who are joining us in solidarity. I salute you very much. Today, ladies and gentlemen, in a very special way, I want to salute our comrade, Comrade Anthony Wameri, who is present today here with us. Comrade Wameri, I thank God that you could marshal up the energy to attend this conference. The last time I spoke to you, you were not feeling very well, but by the grace of God, you are with us today and you will definitely get well soon. Thank the Almighty God. It's very sad, comrades, that I was not able to physically attend this conference owing to the travel restrictions, but we thank God that nevertheless I am able to communicate and be with you, although, virtually. I appreciate you, fellow Ugandans, for the Uganda Action Day yesterday. I watched, and the entire world watched, as you stood up to be counted, as you asserted our voices. I really felt honored, I felt represented, and many Ugandans, comrades, felt represented by your action yesterday. I want the world to know, and indeed all of us to remember, that our objective is to show the world that it is not only immoral, but it's unacceptable to stand with a dictatorship that is killing people, maiming people, to stand with a regime that just blatantly rigged elections, that massacred people. We should continue putting it in the face of these development partners that, they are coming off as partners in crime when they hobnob with a renowned dictator, and the only way to put it across is to stand and be counted. So I thank you, comrades, for making it yesterday to New York. We watched, and I'm sure it will inspire many other Ugandans to continue standing up morally, non-violently, but of course, very assertively. You, comrades, have been playing a big role, a big role in the struggle back home. Of course, while appreciating the countries that stood with us, we must stand with ourselves. You, the diaspora comrades, are playing a great job. Right from the days of beginning of the People Power movement to today, you have supported the comrades in the struggle. But again, in many years, Ugandans in the diaspora have come out unprecedentedly. They have not only directly been involved in the struggle for change back home, but they've been involved massively. It has not been happening the way it is happening. And I hope that we find the courage to push on forward, to become more and not to become lesser. Friends, Museveni is scared. Museveni is scared of the diaspora, and rightly so. Museveni knows the role the diaspora played in the 1980s when they are fighting against Obote. They know what they call in their books the external wing of the NRA. Those are the guys that went from country to country, exposing the Obote excesses, the Obote regime, demonizing it. And that was a very big factor in their win. So Museveni knows what happens. Museveni knows that while we talk, while we expose the regime back home, it is much more effective when it's done in the diaspora. And that is why they are investing millions and millions of dollars to, pay companies to cleanse the already blood-stained image of the regime. You, comrades in America, you have seen, companies. There's this company that recently was, forced to part ways with General Museveni in America, but I'm informed that they are still working with the Museveni regime in the UK. The company is called Mercury. And many other companies, many other lobbyists have been paid in millions taxpayers' money to cleanse the regime. But of course, comrades, you know, with your relentless efforts, not even the lobbyists that are paid to cleanse the bloodstained regime, the bloodstained image of the Museveni regime will help him in any way. So we salute you, comrades. You know you're playing a big, big, big role. The protesting, the pressuring of the governments and the leaders where you come from, but also it goes to supporting the foot soldiers that are here. You supported us through the campaign. We never lacked. I always say that Museveni wants the world to think that we are supported by whites, that we are supported by foreign powers. But you know as well as I know that it is you, comrades in the diaspora, that have supported us through the presidential election. You've supported comrades in prison. You've supported those that are in hospitals, and you continue to support their families. So the role of the diaspora cannot be overemphasized, comrades. We salute you, and always remember that you are playing a big, big, big role. Like I was trying to say, the regime is scared. Besides paying lobbyists, they are trying as much as possible to infiltrate and destabilize and disorganize our leadership all over the world, especially in the diaspora, because according to them, that is the only way they can survive. The Museveni regime is planting spies all over the world, and of course you wouldn't be surprised if you have some amongst yourselves right now. I can only continue to encourage you, comrades, to be, relentless, to be, vigilant, to look out and to continuously assert yourselves and assert the values that you stand for and push on the cause, because we rely on you so much. The nation relies on you, gentlemen and ladies, so much. Allow me, friends, to reassure you that we won the January 14th election here in Uganda. And I'm talking to you not only as the president of the National Unity Platform, but as the president of the Republic of Uganda. Although General Museveni, using the military and of course using Mr. Byabakama and his electoral commission, he usurped the voice of the people and once again imposed himself on the people of Uganda, using the abductions of our people, the rampant arrests, the November massacres, and the like. He was able to suppress the voices of the people and to prevent them from rising up to demand their victory. So, did it end there? Of course not. I must remind you, comrades, that fighting a dictatorship is not a sprint, it's a marathon. In Sudan, for example, you remember that the people of Sudan made various efforts to rise up to free themselves from the tyrant regime of Omar el-Bashir. But every now and then, on a number of occasions, Bashir was able to suppress the people of Sudan until that one time in April 2019. So our time is soon coming. Let us continue pushing on. Let us not give up. Like I said, fighting a dictatorship is not a sprint. It is a marathon. We need to prepare our minds to go for the long drive. In terms of tactics, of course, we must do everything within our power to make sure that the dictatorship, the Museveni dictatorship, falls to death. In terms of tactics, we should do that. We should aim at making the regime fall as soon as now. But in terms of strategy, while we think about today, we must also prepare for tomorrow. We must prepare our minds for the long run. Because in any case, comrades, do we have an option? No, we don't have an option. So while we find the comfort in knowing that, not a single movement or organization has been able to shake the regime to its nerve in just a short time, I must remind you, comrades, that we don't have very many options. We either fight on and continue fighting, or we resign to slavery, which many of us agreed not to do. We are not going to resign to slavery. Uganda is our country, and we are going to free ourselves, or we shall die trying to free ourselves. We don't have an option. Remember, friends, because everybody has seen it, that Museveni is building a monarch in Uganda. Everything that is happening shows you the strategy Museveni is having, from the abductions to the torture of our people, to the arrest of Honorable Sejirinya and Honorable Sewanyana, to the mass murders. I mean, even the murders and attempted murders of high-ranking military and police officers, especially those that are deemed to be a threat to the monarch that Museveni is creating, speaks volumes. You have all seen and been disturbed by the constant deaths of outspoken religious leaders, those who are critical of the injustices occasioned by the Museveni regime. We've all seen them die in a very unexplained manner, from Bishop Kagwa to Sheikh Muzata, Sheikh Anas Kalisa, and of course the unexplained death of the Archbishop Cyprian Chistoranga, to the recent one. That should cause us to question, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to know and to reaffirm this to your comrades, that the Museveni family is in a shopping spree. Yes, the Museveni family is on a shopping spree, buying whoever is up for sale, using the money borrowed in our names, in the names of your children and your children's children, and also using the money squeezed out of the people, especially in these disturbing times, trying and indeed succeeding many times in buying and co-opting critical voices from musicians, artists, to academicians, religious leaders, and even civil society actors. So we should know that we are up against a dictator, and I really agree with the words that our Secretary General has just communicated. We are up against a dictator, and we must be vigilant. It's a shame, of course, to see that some Ugandans, respectable Ugandans, have decided to opt for selling the future of their country, the future of their children and their children's children, for a quick gain and a quick buck. But the assurance that we have, that I want to reiterate to you, comrades, is that the people of Uganda are on the side of change. They are yearning for change, and they will get the change that they so badly desire. Friends, this retreat is very, very important. It's very important, and I hope through the discussions that we are having, that you are having, we can be able to look into ourselves and evaluate, see where we have come from, see where we are, and see where we are going. And I also hope that the leaders from Uganda will be able to share with you the experience from the ground, and maybe through the deliberations, the discussions, and the sharing of views and strategies, we can be able to find a better way of guiding the glorious men and women on the front line, especially those foot soldiers, the Ugandans from different walks of life that are resolved to chase away the Museveni dictatorship, which I can constantly assure you that we will succeed at. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage unity. I want to encourage unity amongst us comrades, amongst you, amongst the comrades and the chapters in the diaspora. We must look out for any temptation of diversion. We must look out for any temptation of tribalism. The Museveni regime has always tried to divide us along tribal lines, along class stripes, I mean along class lines and various things, but most importantly, along tribal lines. So we must not fall prey to the Museveni tricks, because that is how the generation has been able to, that's how Museveni has been able to divide people. Good enough, we are from a generation that is already united. We are not together because we are friends. We are not together because we like each other's character. We are not together because we like each other's religions or each other's tribes. We are together because we share pains, because we share dreams and aspirations for this our country, Uganda. We don't have another. So it is important that even while we are still in the struggle, we find a way of understanding each other and embracing each other in our diversities. I want to encourage that, ladies and gentlemen, because I believe that has worked. It has worked here on ground. It will work in the diaspora. It will work all over the world. Conclusively, ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate in a very massive way the leadership of the diaspora. Thank you very much for the work that you are doing, the work that you've been doing, and the work that you continue to do. And I want to encourage you not to relent. I want to encourage you to keep going, to keep pushing. I also want to promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that I will be with you soon. I will not announce this time because, every time I announce that I'm going to be with you, something happens. So this time I'm not going to announce when I'm traveling, but I sure will be with you. One of the discussions, as I conclude, one of the very important discussions that I was very much looking forward to be part of is the streamlining and the strengthening of our diaspora leadership. Unfortunately, I did not come, but I pledge to soon come. Or you will organize a Zoom meeting, where we can have an open discussion and make suggestions. I want to note, ladies and gentlemen, that I have, and I'm sure other leaders have had and noted the various concerns that have been raised. And I want to pledge to you that together with the leadership, we should be able to address them in the coming days. I'm very glad to have spoken to you in this conference, and I'm looking forward to also speaking to you tomorrow and enjoying the talent that God gave to us, the talent that we are using for the betterment and freeing of our people. I thank you very much for listening to me, and I wish you fruitful deliberations. People power, our power.
People power.
Of Robert Shagulanyi. You really presented a number of issues, some of which we talked about earlier, the questions that many Ugandans have been asking, things like human rights violations, things like the way forward for NUP, things like the diaspora community. How can they coordinate hand in hand to make sure that the movement keeps on going and they can have difference, they can have change in the economy? But most importantly, the president encouraged more about unity amongst the diaspora leaders and the diaspora communities. This has been a very key problem amongst the diaspora community, at least from different sources we try to reach out to. Everyone has been saying we need more coordination, we need more unity. And today we've heard Honorable Robert Chagulanyi mentioning about the same key thing. He has also talked about spies in the diaspora community. Now, you've heard about these rumors on social media and other platforms. Today is different because he himself knows that the regime is doing much to make sure that they can gather information from different committees down here in the diaspora and send the information back to them. So that is very important. That is a very good question. That is a very key thing that people need to understand right now, and of course in the future as the country lays forward for where it's going. But he has talked about like I said, he has talked about the unity. He has talked about spies in the diaspora. He has talked about the importance of the diaspora community in the struggle and what he's going to do to make sure that the struggle continues. The Honorable Robert Chagulanyi has also mentioned that, yes, today he has not made it possible to be around physically to discuss a number of key issues. He is planning on coming again to meet with the diaspora communities to discuss the way forward of the leadership in the diaspora, because diaspora, according to him, plays a bigger role in making sure that we can see a difference in the political spectrum of the country. I've just been highlighting a few things that he has mentioned. He has talked about his physical attendance here. He has talked about the immoral standards of the current government led by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. This is very important when you hear it from the main man who leads such a big organization, the National Unity Platform. Question is, will all these words that they have discussed here and what he has talked about, or what he's going to share tomorrow, will they create an impact in making sure that we can have a new foundation? Now, right now I'm joined by Ismail Selunjoji, who has been a very key personality in the. I earlier talked to Dr. Daniel Kauma about the future of these committees, diaspora organization, the structures. Ismail, I asked the same question to Dr. Daniel Kauma. Will there be something new that we've not seen before in these structures you're talking about?
Thank you very much, my friend Julius. We are hoping not for only something new, but something better. The diaspora is made up of people that are very intelligent, and they come from different places. So we are saying, for all the organizations that are Ugandan, can we be better than them? But also, we know that there are organizations from other countries like Nigeria and Guinea, Sierra Leone, that are here, that are doing it, and they have been successful in this discussion. So we are hoping to have a much larger discussion than what we had today, and from then we see how we can take it up. Just like the president has said, to continue to implement it in the best way, such that the dictator also does not infiltrate whatever structure that we get.
Sure, you mentioned about some of the things that Honorable Chagulanyi mentioned, and he talked about unity amongst the diaspora and the people back in Uganda, especially those who support the National Unity Platform and people power in general. What do you think has to be done to bring about that unity that people saw in the beginning of the people power movement?
I think the people are united. I think there's unity. The only what I would hear from your question is an issue of motivation. And if we continue to have more events like this, we need to continue to motivate our people such that by 2026 we still have the same vigor, we still have the same energy to continue to do what we are doing.
Have you heard in the rumors whether he's going to stand again in 2026?
I don't speak for the president, but if he did, I would not be surprised.
All right. Ismail, I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope to have you again tomorrow, because I'm sure we are going to be here, and of course, live on our AITV political shows. Thank you, Ismail. All right. That was Ismail. He's one of the key people who have been organizing, and we could call them the academias, or people who are very smart in organizing structures. This is not like any other event. This is not like any other political show you've seen in the past, but we are working so hard, hand in hand, to make sure that we have a very organized political move in the future. My job as a media personality, as a network, our job is to make sure that to bring you all the right information, the right key people to discuss on the key issues. So tonight we anticipate, just as what you see behind me today, just like what you see today, these are all people who have gathered here to discuss a number of things. So I'm joined by another key supporter of the People Power Movement. Now I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What have you, first of all, tell the public your names, and what have you liked most from this discussion that we've had today?
First of all, my name is called Salongo Musajja Tamwanva, People Power Mobilizer from Boston. What I liked from this setup of today, it is something new. Seeing people from different states coming here, spend 3 nights. It is not a joke. You pay for it. You paid for everything. It has shown me the heart people have for change. How soon people need the change. So another thing also, the way people have spoken out their mind, because usually it is not easy to find people speaking out their mind. But this time around, I've seen people have spoken, and they have spoken out their mind, what they want, how they want to be. Not today, but 10 years from now, where they want to be. So it is, I don't know what I can say.
Right.
I'm out of words, because I'm very happy about being here today. Right. I thank God that I'm about the history, which is